guys.
Oh.
Hey.
It's divided just like our country. You're already a citizen. Calm down.
I don't have to kiss ass? No.
Is America the new Middle East? Today
Well-
we're gonna unveil just... We have to be serious. This is a serious topic.
I know. Alright, let's get
say
started,
it.
baby.
Take a deep breath. Ah. The whole nation needs to do this.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to...
Daring accents. I'm a
Try
pro.
again. Try again. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to...
Daring accents.
That was better.
Are you my conductor?
Something looks different about you, by the way.
It's my hair.
What'd you do to it?
I divided it from the middle. Just like America.
What do you mean divided?
You know
divided.
how
Okay.
America's divided, so my hair decided to be divided too.
Speaking of divided America, we were actually going to talk about another topic about Middle East, obviously to educate. But we figured we're going to dedicate this specifically to America because it makes sense based on what's going on here in USA.
It kind of feels like the Middle East.
Yeah,
Like the other day, we went to PB, Pacific Beach. It's in San Diego. And all of a sudden, there was 2 protests. There was clashes. There was police everywhere. There was pepper spray. I literally felt like I was back in Jerusalem. I was like, oh my God, I shouldn't be here.
It's hard to ignore what's going on here in America. Like, it is a very... it's a time where you never really predicted this. I know some people are, oh yeah, since Trump got, won the election, this was bound to happen. No, you didn't fucking know that there's gonna be people rioting and breaking into the Capitol and the Capitol buildings and with an attempt to kill people, kill our politicians. Nobody predicted this shit, especially since it's in America.
I feel like when I heard that Trump won, part of me was like, I can't believe he won, last time. But I think after Biden won this time, I just kind of thought, as long as that day goes by well, we should be fine. I expected maybe, some protests, maybe like, it sounds bad, like I expected a few hate crimes here and there where, some Trump supporter tells a foreigner to go back to his country, just, the usual. But I did not expect that many people will have the guts to go and do what they did. Mainly because I feel like for you to be able to do something like that and go and enter, but like that is probably the biggest crime you could do in the US. So I feel like if you have a house, your life is semi-okay. Like, why would you risk all of that? Why would you risk your whole life for that? Like, there has to be something deep inside of them to believe that this is, like, really worth the risk.
And there are. We're going to discuss some of those factors as to why these people do what they do. It's gotten to a point where it tests your security and it tests your freedom. And partly why we are talking about this is because these are some of the topics or some of the events that take place in countries like Middle East, in which has been our focus. So it only makes sense for us to talk about this because it relates to America, where we live, where we think that freedom and security was a huge thing, and now it's a question mark.
It is. And I think one of the biggest questions and biggest things I saw that people were reacting to when this whole thing happened was, oh, what if these people were black? I want to take it even a step further. What if these people were Middle Eastern? If there was one Middle Eastern in front of the Capitol with a gun or like even a knife, he would be in Guantanamo Bay right now.
That's a fact.
Eating cock meat sandwiches.
That's a fact.
Have you ever heard?
You know, I don't understand. Like, I just thought of this. Why didn't they, if the Trump supporters were really smart, right?
Mm-hmm.
They could have fucking paid a Middle Eastern guy or two of them and just threw him in the crowd. All this blame, 99% of the crimes would have been fucking geared towards the Middle Eastern people.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm very happy that for once, Middle Easterns have nothing to do with it, thank God.
Don't be too quick. Tomorrow, they could pop out. Be like, hey, it was a Middle Eastern guy who had mental disease or mental problem.
When it's Middle Eastern, they don't give them the mental health thing.
That's
it's
true.
a white people
It's an
thing.
isolated cause. If it's Middle Eastern, it's a
Muslim thing.
foreign terrorism, right?
Yeah, if it's a Middle Eastern, they're a terrorist.
They're a terrorist. If it's a white guy, in this case, this has to be like all white guys.
Lots of white guys.
That's a lot of mental issues. I'm surprised that hasn't been brought up yet.
I'm gonna call up my therapist to go to the Capitol next time. Anyways.
But you mentioned
crazy.
black people. Even them, I can't imagine how many people would have died. People being the rioters or the protesters. How many people would have we would have had? Because
if you remember, I don't mean to cut you off, but remember when there was, so we had Black Lives Matter protests in San Diego, and we actually went to kind of like take pictures of it and just like kind of witness it type thing, and you did actually a video about it. There was snipers all around, remember? There were snipers at the top of the building.
none of that existed in this.
But I think it's crazy to me that it didn't happen. Like, they weren't even prepared. When you look at the videos, it looks like there was like 20 cops there.
And then those cops are like running away.
Like, but honestly, some people say like, oh, they let them in. But if you were one cop and there was that many people, I would be scared.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't let National Guard
No,
in this
they
case. Remember with the BLM movement, they had the National Guard out?
Mm-hmm.
So that puts a lot of scare in people. In here, there was no scare. People were just like... I mean, there were the dude that went inside the Capitol building, inside the Nancy Pelosi's office. They took her scarf, or did they take her scarf?
They took her laptop.
They took her laptop. What did I say? Scarf.
I don't know,
That
but
would have
that
been funny because
funny.
Nancy Pelosi has those little scarves.
That'd be kind of funny, actually.
I wanted to see somebody just get one of her scarves, just like... I think some of them got arrested though. Some
They
of those
did,
people.
yeah. But I think what's crazy about it, about the whole, like, they let them in, I also think it does go back to racism, which is something everyone is saying, so I know we're not necessarily saying, like, something new, but if you really think about it, even the fact that the police just let them in kind of shows you a little bit about how the police think. They don't think that a white man with a gun shouting, "I'm gonna kill you,"
Is a threat.
is a threat. But just to go back to some of the crazy stories that happened this year, but a black man or woman like sleeping in the room behind the door is scary.
Yeah, it goes pretty deep. It's embedded in the back of their minds that if you're a black man, Middle Eastern, or any other race that comes across as a threat, it's embedded. It's already been sort of formed in your brain that those people are a threat. If they act, reach for their license and registration, they're reaching for a gun.
Mm-hmm.
That is not the kind of thinking that happens when a white man goes and reaches for the license registration.
It reminds me of every time I've watched the news, like when the Iraq war started, when Syria happened, like anytime a country's about to collapse, I don't want to scare someone, but this is kind of how it starts. It's usually something against the government with the election. There's a group of people, it's a little bit of outbursts here and there. So, we have to ask the question, do you think we are in a civil war, or we will get there, or are we in a World War III? What do you think?
That's a good question. I hope we're not in a civil war. I really hope so, because it would suck for us. We escaped.
That's what I would like. I'm gonna be selfish. I'm gonna ask for my money back because I paid a lot of money for these stupid applications. I want my money back, and if I'm gonna be fucking pissed. I'm just serious.
See, I believe in America. I really do.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it with the Obama voice. I believe in America. How does it say? I believe in America.
I believe.
Yes, we can.
The United States
of America. In America. I believe in the United States of America. Yes, we can. No, I really do. I don't think there's gonna be a civil war.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think.
Why don't you think that?
I don't think there will be a civil war because I think American people, they're smart enough not to cause that kind of chaos. Now, I don't want to be too fast at saying that. It will be very premature. But the people that we see, the rioters, the Trump supporters, not all of them are violent. Not all of them want to seek justice by rioting. In fact, remember, they were making fun of the BLM movement for being the rioters.
Mm-hmm.
So the people that you see on TV that are breaking into the Capitol, this is not a representation of the whole Trump supporters. It really is not. And there are good people, there are educated people who can take a loss and lose an election, and they'll be like, okay, we are going to hope that the Biden administration is going to do us some good.
Mm-hmm.
They will be more, they're accepting that. So you can't just take this little group and project it and brush the whole Trump population as being violent or violent to a point where they're going to cause a civil war.
Right.
And I do think that these people will cause small riots here and there. And it will be more likely for these riots or these clashes to happen because of what's going on with the BLM movement. So it's like two very
That's
sensitive
true.
things that are happening. And we also discussed how the pandemic is actually preventing those little clashes to happen.
That's true. We were talking about this the other day, and that's why we decided to do a podcast about it. And you made a really good point. I was asking you, do you
Always.
think...
Always.
I was like, do you think this is going to happen? I feel like it might actually happen. And you were like, no, it's the U.S. I feel like the security in this country, everything, people here are smarter. But also we were talking about it, and we were like, what's good is, in a way, it's good that we are in a pandemic when this is happening.
Right.
Because I could totally see it being so much worse
Right.
if it wasn't, because then some of these extremists, they could easily go into a bar, shoot up some people, like how what was happening before. Like, if you think about it, since the pandemic, mass shootings have gone down. No one is saying that.
That's a COVID plus.
So
COVID
I
pro.
think, thank God, in a way, for the pandemic, because we know these people are not going into churches, movie theaters, big-ass concerts, because they're just not happening. Unless we get to a point where these people are... I don't want to give ideas, so I'm not going to say what else is the alternative, but I'm just glad. In a way, I'm glad. That's the only thing that makes me feel a little safe about it, because I just feel like the government will have a good handle of it because of the way the situation is going.
And that doesn't mean that we hope that the COVID continues because it provides security.
At the same time, I think...
For now.
At the same time, I think COVID is something that contributed to this much tension in the country. Like, when we talk about, like, how the hell did we get here?
That's true.
How did we get to this point? I think the pandemic put all of us under pressure. Every single human. We're at we've been in this for like almost a year. We're all at our tipping point. Like, there is no human that isn't. We're all being tested, our patience. And I think sometimes when you feel like things are not going your way, like maybe you're struggling, you see the economy, you're so afraid for your job, how long are you going to keep your job, what's going to happen next, you want to find someone to blame, and because the pandemic is caused by something invisible, people don't have, it's not like, let's say 9/11, where people can be like, it's the terrorists, let's go fight them. It's something people can't see, so we really can't go...
So hence all these conspiracy theories arise because people can just create them, right?
Mm-hmm. It's just, yeah.
And there was a lot of conspiracy theories. Like, honestly, before these conspiracy theories, the only conspiracy theory that I knew was 9/11.
Have you heard what the conspiracy theories are that are making people think this?
I've heard it's some bizarre ass conspiracy theory.
Yeah, so you were making fun of me a little bit. I'm someone that I always like to play devil's advocate in everything.
Because you're the devil.
Devil. I'm just kidding.
Okay, devil's advocate, continue.
But I like to play devil's advocate sometimes because I want to understand why these people think the way they do. Because I know some really, really smart people that really support Trump. And I wanted to understand, like, what is making someone like you support him? Like, what is it? Like, how did you get to this point? So what these people believe, in a summary for anyone that doesn't know, they believe that Donald Trump is the savior. They believe that he's this undercover savior that was sent by, I can't remember if it was like the FBI or CIA or something. Someone has sent him, and he's been working like undercover for years with all these celebrities and all these politicians. And that there is this ring, I think it's called the Deep State, I'm not sure, that there's this group of celebrities, these group of very rich people, and they are all child pedophiles. There's been so much sex trafficking and stuff like that. Donald Trump, he's the savior. He's the one that's going to finally stop this movement. And so pretty much, in a way, all of these conspiracy theories, they slowly make these people think that there's this alternate motive to all of the stuff that's happening. And at first I was interested. At first I was like, what if there is something behind it? But then I kept hearing these things and I was like, okay, like, I don't see anything happening that these people are saying. And it just all sounds like one excuse after the other. And honestly, if I was the Trump administration and I wanted to win, I would feed more lies into it. I would send more people to go write on these forums, so these people go crazy. The last conspiracy theory I saw was when these people stormed the Capitol. Someone on my Facebook posted this tweet that Donald Trump tweeted, and it said, "Hey, everyone who's in the Capitol, whatever, go back." Or whatever, like, you need to go home. Whatever it said.
Right.
So, according to this conspiracy group, if you grab the letters of each word in the first line or something, and they equal a number 43 or something, and this number means Antifa. So
Oh my
all of these
God.
people were like, yes, Donald Trump is sending us this cryptic message. Like, literally, Donald Trump can be like, you
I
guys
took his
are...
shit.
How
I
did
took
you
his
read
shit.
my mind? I was gonna say that.
It's a beast. That's crazy.
It's insane.
See, people don't want to admit or accept that they're at wrong.
It's true. It's
They
human
don't
nature.
want not just them being wrong, because if they accept it, then they're accepting a huge loss. It's like they accept and they welcome Biden. So
That's
they
a
will-
really good point.
right? So there's no way they want to accept like that. So they will find every bit of excuse to try to go back to their old, distorted thinking.
I think I completely agree with you. That's a really good point, because how many times do you hear people watching football, their team loses, all of a sudden it was the referee?
Right.
Like, that's literally the card Trump is pulling out.
Trump is just so good at gaslighting people.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people don't know what gaslighting is.
Yeah,
I was one of them. I didn't know what gaslighting was
I taught you what it means.
until
You
I
grabbed some
realized that
gas
she
and-
was gaslighting me. I was like, holy shit. My life is at risk.
Shut the fuck.
But no, seriously, let's talk about gaslighting. Gaslighting is when
It's when gaslighting is when someone manipulates reality, constantly, to the point where you start to believe things that are not even real. You see the things in front of you, but you still believe the lies.
But that's what Donald Trump has done. He has, since he became president, or even before he became president, he has been gaslighting people. Most of Mexicans are rapists. He says it in a way as if that's true. So people really start believing him. Like,
Also, Donald Trump is a businessman. One of the first things you learn in business is the art of persuasion. And one of the things you learn when you are in business school is repetition makes people believe what you're saying. So if you keep repeating the same thing over and over, eventually you will say it back to the other person as if it's something you believe in.
right.
And that's what he's done.
He's a genius.
I know. He's a genius marketer.
He's a genius marketer. That's how he got himself to be the president. But you could only take and gaslight and manipulate and persuade to a certain extent. Eventually, you'll get caught. And look at him now. He got busted.
I
Redhead.
think one of the constant things you see with dictators or any type of leader that wants to become a dictator is the fact that they suppress the media. I knew that these people were at wrong when they would start shooting journalists. Journalists are only there to do their jobs. Yes, different TV stations are supported by different political groups. That's the truth everywhere. But at the end of the day, these people still come to shoot the video, do a commentator on it. He knew he was a piece of shit. He didn't want people to report on it. The easiest way to do that is to literally convince people that
fake news.
anyone in the planet is telling a lie except for him on Twitter.
And then people were believing him. They were convinced. So what else? What else is there to do? Like, the guy is winning in every way. It sucks because when he became president, I was like, he's different. He's non-politician. Maybe he's gonna bring something new to the game, and for a year I was like for it, because at the end of the day, Trump was getting shit done.
I agree.
He doesn't beat around the bush. He's direct and he's to the point, and he's not afraid to express himself.
A lot of people say that. A lot of people say that, he's direct and he's straight to the point. I do agree. I do agree that in some things that are business related, like when it comes to trade and things like that, I think his policies were actually pretty helpful. At the same time, I think he doesn't care about the everyday American. He's a businessman. So he looks at life as a businessman. He thinks everyone is in business. So he only deals with like money. That's all he cares about. When it comes down to like, even now, he doesn't realize that everything he's doing, he's actually hurting the people he's supporting. Because they've gone nuts for him.
Yeah, I mean, he's just all about himself. It's his ego that's running and running people. Like, literally, like, everything revolves around his ego. When he lost, he's like, fuck no, I'm not going to accept the loss. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try to challenge it. I'm going to try to take this shit to court. And he did that. He lost. And it's like, okay, what's my last option? Let's resort and rely on, his Republican senators. When he didn't get the support he needed from them, except from Ted Cruz, which I fucking hate him.
He looks like a devil, actually.
I do not like Ted Cruz. Anyway, so when he didn't get the support from the senators, he's like, fuck, what's my last resort? Let me just turn people against people. He's like, let me incite and turn people against the Capitol, against the Biden administration. Let's cause a riot. He's like, I'm going to be with you guys. It's fucked up.
That's the thing, is when you have a leader that's more in love with being in power than in love with helping the people, that's what happens. But I think the obsession with him is insane. People are willing to fight their neighbor next door who's been helping them mow the lawn for the past 10 years over a guy who doesn't give a flying shit about them.
Right, and let's make some comparisons to Middle East. I think it causes people to radicalize. It causes people to become extremists in a sense, and that's the kind of ideologies and thinking he has kind of sort of brushed over people, and that's dangerous because that over time will cause division. It's gonna create a lot of turbulence. It's gonna make things like very shaky. It's gonna make things put people on edge, and when you have that kind of system, when you bring that kind of vibe among people, they will clash. It's gonna cause a lot of problems.
I feel like that's how it feels nowadays. I feel like before it was like, oh, you're Republican, I'm a Democrat, whatever. Now it feels like I feel like when Obama was running, I don't feel like people were like but I feel like now,
even though if you consider that was still a very sensitive thing, because it was the first black person being a president. So now let's go back to the Bush administration. Then things are smooth sailing.
I mean, if you think about it, like, Bill Clinton got kicked out of office because someone gave him head in the Oval Office. This dude brought his whole supporters to like go try kill half of this, like the Senate or whatever.
Yeah.
And people are still like, I still think he's a good guy.
Kill the vice president.
Yes.
They were
saying they want to put his,
They were threatening Pence.
Mm-hmm.
And I like Pence. I think Pence is like a little...
He's a little puppet.
Like a little puppet. Yeah, he's just... But honestly, I think Pence would have done a better job.
I feel so bad for Pence. Can you imagine having to work with Donald Trump every day? He'll be like, what do you want to eat for breakfast? Tea? Coffee?
I'll have some tea too.
Yeah, it's like... It feels like the whole Republican Party went from like they knew he was bad news to just being like, okay, we have no choice. They kissed his ass so much.
Oh my god, like Ted Cruz. Let's talk about this guy.
Your favorite.
He did not like Donald Trump before he got elected. He was talking shit on him. How he is like a child. He's a liar. This. As soon as Donald Trump became president, started kissing his ass.
Of course.
Kissing his ass heavy. And now, I was listening to one of his speeches, and they were asking him why still support this kind of behavior and this kind of rhetoric, whatever. And he said, I've always been against Donald Trump's behavior and this kind of rhetoric. I've always been like that. But then they were fucking showing clips. They're like, no, you haven't, bitch. Stop lying.
But see, like I saw some videos that were kind of talking about that. Because I'd like to play devil's advocate. I look at it from this perspective. At the end of the day, they have a job. It's their job. Imagine if you had a coworker that you guys were running against being the manager of the whole hospital in your case, you know? You knew he was bad news. You've seen him fuck up. You've seen him kill patients, let's say. You were like, you were in the interview, you're like, I don't think he should get the job. I'm way better. He's bad news. Guess what? He gets the job. Now, he's your boss. What are you gonna do? Some people have the balls to be like, I care about my values more than anything. So they'll stick to their values. Other people, they're like, alright, I gotta play my cards right if I wanna stay at this job. That's how I look at it.
I look at it that Ted Cruz is a bitch.
I like that. Yeah. Do Trump supporters really think the country would benefit from them let's say they go and they stage a coup. Anytime there's a civil war in any other country, that country is fucked.
That's gonna put the country so behind. Especially considering how you have the BLM movement, you have the Tumpism, and that kind of clash, and especially since things are pretty divided when it comes to numbers and logistics. It's equally almost divided. Like Trump got a lot of support. He got a lot of votes.
Yeah, he did.
So if, God forbid, doesn't happen, if that kind of civil war happens, I'm running to Canada.
Same. But it makes you think like... It makes me think like, what if all of this is just for the benefit of other countries? Like, if you think about it, who would benefit from it? I personally think countries like China or Russia would, oh my god, they're watching this and they're like, fuck yes. Do you know how many countries in the world would love to beat the US to stop being the number one, the country that they have to listen to all the time?
That's a good point, and I think this should be a message directed to Trump supporters, because hey, what we're doing now and the kinds of chaos we are creating here in US, it's making other countries like China and Russia and some whatever other countries that hate America, which is like 90% of the countries, it's making them happy.
Mm-hmm.
It's so we need to come into terms and realize that we can't be doing this shit.
If you read one history book about how this stuff goes on, you will just understand that it's really in nobody's benefit for us to go into war.
America is still the strongest country on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? It has the strongest military, the strongest economic base. And if China, I would hate to see China overpower and become the most powerful country in the world.
And they're like on track.
We might be in a World War III already.
We might be.
You know, we talked about this. We said it doesn't have to be a combat type of war. It can be a information type of war.
Yep.
Right?
Like,
and that's deep.
yeah, I agree. I think the easiest way and cheapest way, really, to ruin another country, if you wanted to, is to get them to clash, to turn on each other to the point where they're so engulfed in fighting each other that they have no time to improve, no time to grow, no time to compete against other countries. If something like this does happen, we're going to turn into a country where we're all in fear, there's civil war, more of our companies will be shut down.
I think part of the reason why they're trying to impeach Trump now is because they don't want to give him any chances, a future chance for him to run for any sort of political
anything, really.
Political anything. But secondly, it's because part of the reason why he got banned from all these social media platforms, you know, is because we still have January 2021.
Mm-hmm.
January
and not
20.
just January 2021. His supporters are at a point where they are very, very, very loyal to him.
Right.
And
at
we
this
really
point,
don't need any more cryptic messages, do we?
right. It's a do or die for them.
Yeah, I mean, so like, what is the solution? What is the solution? How can we get both sides to get to an understanding?
People just need to get laid and realize that
Delayed.
whatever the reason is, like, dude, like, you guys are fighting over an egotistical person who cares about nobody but himself and his money.
So the Trump supporters think that they're fighting against pedophiles and that Donald Trump is their savior.
Is that the only reason
That's
why?
literally what I'm just telling you what they think, because I know that when a Trump supporter watches this, they'll be like,
Is it worth destroying your country because of a small population of pedophiles that exist?
it's not just that, it's like, that's not really what's going on.
It's not going on. I'm just saying that.
There are pedophiles. There's pedophiles down the street from your house, right?
They consider...
But creating a civil war will only enable there to be more pedophiles.
Right.
Because we'll be so busy fighting each other.
It's ironic because Trump, to me, is one of those people who have done some things where his buddy Epstein has done.
So that's what That's what blows my mind. His wife doesn't even hold his hand. You really think he's like a nice man?
Where is his wife? Like during this time, I've been like she's just hiding.
Can you imagine if I was Donald Trump's wife?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
What?
I would be like, dude, get your shit together. You lost. Get the fuck over it. Let's go on a run. Relieve some tension. Do some meditation. Eat like I'll cook you your favorite meal. Let's like go on a little vacation. I don't want to say what else.
She's not doing a good job. To release some of that tension, she
Yes.
should suck his dick.
I wanted to say that, but I don't want to say that. It's
Melania, if you're listening, you could save millions of people. You could save a nation. All you gotta do is suck your husband's big, he calls it big, fat, orange colored dick. Yeah, it's what is the solution? I think I have something to say. This
Tell
will
me.
kind of put a little bit of ease. Okay. Let's say Trump did lose, which he did. And let's say Biden is becoming the president, which he's on the verge of becoming the president. Okay? 4 years. Okay? It's not the end of the world. Let the guy do his thing before he dies. 4 years, let's give Biden a chance. Let's live together. Let's unite together. Because right now, it's making me consider leaving the fucking country. Although I wouldn't, because I do love US and I don't think none of that shit would happen.
I don't think.
But let's end it on a good note.
You want to know what I think?
What?
This is my message. Imagine you're in the 5th grade. Your teacher was like, hey, you guys. Today I'm gonna buy you guys all ice cream. But I don't know if it should be chocolate or vanilla. You fucking love vanilla. And you hate chocolate. 80%, not 80, 51% of the classroom said they want chocolate. So now the teacher is getting you chocolate. You're pissed off because you didn't get vanilla. But the teacher said, whoever gets the most votes, that's what everyone is gonna get. You get pissed off on the inside, you suck it up, you eat the chocolate ice cream, and you wait until the next time the teacher asks you to vote, and you try to convince some of your other friends to vote for the chocolate ice cream.
Wow, that was deep.
You like that?
That was deep. Like the deep state.
That's a good one, actually. That's a good one.
All right. I think we touched on everything. We could go on and on and
That's
on.
it. That's
this
it.
is a never-ending thing.
Mm-hmm. Love each other.
Love each other. We don't think America is the new Middle East.
Unless we're talking about Dubai, maybe.
America is far more advanced than Middle East. Speaking of Middle East, for our next podcast, stay tuned because we're going to talk about more of Middle East stories.
And before we go,
Wow.
we dare you to have a civil conversation with your neighbor. Bye.
Yes. We dare you.
We dare you to subscribe to our channel.
And this is a way
Dress
for
up
us to
purposely.
vent.
Yes.
We vent. You know, nowadays, you can't just go in the street or in the bar.
You can't have a drink and be like, yeah, I do think Trump is a piece of shit.
So you gotta sit at home, grab 2 microphones, dress up, and vent. That's all you can do through 2021.
Yeah.